virtual town hall for Wednesday, December 13th. So before we dive in, does anybody have any public comment not on the agenda? Anybody want
Do you
to
want
say
me to do a roll call?
Oh, shoot, I'm sorry. I'm not practiced, Cheryl.
I know we haven't had one for
It's been a
couple
while.
months. Let's see. So we have myself, Cheryl Hartman, phone number ending in 4410.
That's me. I'm just now trying to log on.
Okay, is that you, Tom?
Yes.
Okay. Bonnie Roberts, Bradley Seaman, Chris Lounsbury, our newest employee, welcome Christina to our team, Christina Dewar, Danica Nelson, Emmy Bristow, Frankie Feinstein, if I say that correctly, Jane and Commissioner Slotnick, MCAT, Chris Hanley, Nicole, and Stephanie Lemberg.
Great, thanks a lot. Okay, now we'll do our public comment on items not on the agenda. Anybody's welcome to say anything, and you can say anything later too. This isn't your only shot, so.
Say anything.
A small announcement.
Yes. My name's Nicole Henningfeld. I started a new nonprofit called Saws and Claws, based off of the Colorado Saws and Slaws. So it'll be chainsaws and bear claws. I am going to be, I think I sent everyone here an email, but I'll get more info to everyone. But basically, I want to do community-wide wildfire mitigation and have it be a competition so that everybody can be doing the same thing at the same time, help their neighbors if they see them struggling, and just make it really accessible and give everyone bite-sized pieces on what to do on their property to make themselves more resilient to wildfire. And then at the end of the month, when we finish all of the nice sweaty work that we'll be doing, hopefully we'll be able to have Bullet Bourbon sponsor a big celebration right before 4th of July.
Sounds good. Thanks.
And you would like to be on the agenda next month and have a fuller presentation that we'll add to the agenda.
Thanks, Nicole.
Okay.
Okay, then I think we'll dive right in. And our first presenter is our friend Bradley Seaman, who's actually got the first two items. He's going to talk about election judge training and then special district candidate filing. So Bradley, it's all you.
Okay, thanks everybody. I really like the opportunity to come together and talk about our two favorite areas, elections and election judges. So we will be recruiting election judges, and we're just now starting to kick off our election judge recruitment. One of the things we're going to do is reach out to the community councils, because we do have polling places in each of our surrounding communities. And one of the things we think is so important is that when you go to your polling place, you see people who represent your community, you see your friends and neighbors, and you get that great service that you get the opportunity to vote in your local school, community center, or other area that's coming forward. So be on the lookout. We'll be sending out flyers, posters to each of our community council contacts, and we'll be starting our big recruitment in the beginning of January. So you can find out more information about serving as an election judge. It takes a training coming up in the spring, and then your service in June and November. And it's a 3-hour commitment for you to sign up, take that training, and be able to serve the people in your community and help make sure they can vote. You can find that information at MissoulaElectionJudge.com. If you go there, it'll take you to a lot of testimonials, a sign-up page where you can enter your information and schedule yourself for a class. Classes are offered next February and March. Okay, great. So that's my quick pitch on election judges and then elections. I always like to talk about the upcoming elections because community councils are all elected positions. If there's ever a vacancy on a community council position, it may get an appointment process through the Board of County Commissioners, or as we just recently established our Clinton Community Council, when we're getting those set up, we'll do an appointment process to establish those members. Candidate filing for any terms that are ending next year will open tomorrow. Each of our community councils should have received an email and a letter. So it's going to open tomorrow on Thursday, and it's going to run through until the 12th of February. So with this, you'll have the opportunity to file for a seat that is currently expiring. it's important that you file for that seat, because if you are waiting for an appointment process, somebody else may file for that seat and they may be elected by acclamation because we had one open seat and one person file. So I wanted to let you know that you've been sent those materials. You should have all received them. If not, get in touch with our office or electioninfo@missoulacounty.us or 258-4751 to give us a call. But you should have that information, and that candidate filing period starts tomorrow and runs through February. If you have any questions about that, feel free to reach out to our office and we'd love to walk you through the process. That's really all I've got. I like to be mindful of everybody's time at 6:30 on a Wednesday night here. So if you have any questions, reach out to me, but I'd love the opportunity to reach out to everybody in the surrounding communities and let you know about these opportunities and requirements to file.
And Bradley, we haven't used much time at all. So if you're open to it, I'd say if anybody has a question, if you're okay with it, they could ask you right now. We're moving fast through a teeny agenda tonight. So
Please
yeah,
do.
and that's very respectful of you, Bradley. I totally appreciate it. And if you're okay hanging out for a few minutes, if anybody has any questions about being an election judge or things like election by acclamation, or how do you get elected to a spot on a community council that looks like it was appointed, anything like that, you can ask Bradley right now. I see a hand from Chris Handley.
Sorry,
I was having trouble turning my mic on. So one of the questions we had was on the ballot certification form that was sent to us. And you all at the elections office pre-filled it for us that seats 1 and seat 2 are up for election in 2024. And then on the last column, it showed the number to be elected is 1. Should that not be 2? Or maybe I don't understand the form. Maybe that's 1 per seat.
Great question, Chris, because there's been a couple of updates specifically for the Clinton Community Council. So with this, I just sent out a couple emails to our team right beforehand to make sure that we had accounted for alternate positions. In addition to alternate positions, that is 1 for each seat. So it will be 2 for a 3-year term. There's only that position open for that 3-year term, but then there is the alternate position for the Clinton Community Council. And so that alternate position will need to file specifically. And that's going to be filling like an unexpired term. So that would be if there was a vacancy, we had that ability, but we wanted to make sure that we didn't have multiple people up for election at the same time. So specific to the Clinton Community Council, you'll have your 3-year term or your alternate position. So if people are interested in serving on the alternate position, they would file, and where it says that term length on that candidate filing form you received, you'll want to put in alternate position there. We always work to check through those forms as they come in to make sure they're accurate, but to answer your question, 1 for each seat, they're both the same term length. So we show each of those seats as an individual seat there, but it's 2 3-year terms that'll be coming up. And then you guys will have the unique opportunity to create and fill those new alternate positions if those bylaws are voted on and go through.
Okay, so Clinton Council could have up to 3 positions up for election. Seat 1 and seat 2, which are the regular council member seats, and then the alternate.
And my understanding is there 2. It'll be based off of those bylaws. And I don't want to jump the gun on you, Chris, because those bylaws need to be presented to the county commissioners and voted on. But I'm always working closely with members of LAC to help make sure that we're accounting for them and have them set up well. Cheryl, did those go through, and did we have those voted on through the commission?
Annie is handling the boards right now until our new employee gets on board with everything. So we'd have to ask her about that.
Yep, but when we look at that, there's going to be each of those positions. Right now, we have it slated in our candidate filing showing 2 3-year terms, and 2 alternate positions. So that's a little bit of an update, as you guys have been presenting some bylaw changes very recently. And so we want to account for those in the candidate filing period. And then if you have questions about that, when a candidate files, there'll be 2 people who are elected for that 3-year term and 2 people whom are elected for that alternate position. So if we receive 2 filings for the 3-year term, that's going to be the election by acclamation. I live and breathe this language, so I want to explain that really quick. Thanks, Josh. That just basically means the same number of people filed for office as open positions. So if we have 2 file for 3-year terms and there are 2 open positions, instead of going to an election, they're appointed or elected by acclamation. If there were 3, then that would go to an election. But it's really going to be based off of how many candidates have filed come February 12th.
Okay.
Question.
Yeah, so can we go back to election judges and maybe walk through it one more time, what exactly they are, what they do, and how many you have?
Yeah. So an election judge is the person who helps assist with people voting on election day. These may be people who are voting by mail, or they may be people whom are serving in the polling place. An election judge is a position that's trained through the county and trained to help serve either in the polling place, the counting center, a drive-through drop-off location. If you've had an interaction with our office on election day, it's very likely been with an election judge. If you've gone to a polling place, all of those staff in your polling place are election judges. So everybody working there to help issue you a ballot is an election judge. We've got some great information that helps break out the different positions, but they issue ballots to voters at the polling places. They help count ballots at the election center where we tabulate all of our mail-in ballots. And then they also help assist with setting up polling places, serving voters, drop-off locations, and helping reconcile and make sure that all of our elections are run accurately. It's a paid position. We refer to it as paid public service because it does pay a minimum wage. However, it is paid for training and your service on election day. The training, we have about 20 different classes that you can sign up for throughout February. And as you go through our trainings, there's a 3-hour minimum commitment. We also offer other trainings for people who may wish to train and learn more. As you go through this, if you want to do a different job, we may have specific trainings for those other jobs. And then we always make sure that people are trained, partnered with other experienced staff, and then go forward towards higher roles and levels of engagement. So the idea is you'll come in, you'll get trained in February or March, and then we'll have elections come up in June. And in those trainings in June, it can be a longer day. It runs from 7 a.m. to 8 p.m., but our election judges will get there at about 6 o'clock and finish at 9 p.m. We always recruit, and we'll need over 600 election judges for this next cycle. We recruit and train more judges than we need so we can have available judges should we end up with a pandemic and need to replace judges rapidly. We were able to go through that additional pool of people and help make sure we have additional trained judges. And should we get enough judges, we can offer a split shift. So you come in at 6 o'clock and leave at 1:30, or come in at 1:30 and leave at 9, instead of that long 14-hour day. I'm typing it into the chat here. It's MissoulaElectionJudge.com, and that's going to be the website where you can go to find more information about service, how you sign up, as well as what that commitment looks like. We ask that you come to that training and then serve in the June election and then the November election. And that's the first Tuesday after the first Monday each month. Did I get pretty much everything you were looking for there, Stephanie? That's my much longer pitch, not my elevator run.
No, that's good. Thank you.
Bradley, if I remember right, there's a tremendous number of people who are election judges.
Yeah, so we've recruited and trained over 600 election judges for the last few years. You probably know somebody in your community that does this, especially amongst all of you whom are generous enough to serve on community councils. So these are your friends and neighbors, and it takes the whole community to be able to run efficient elections like this. We're really proud of our office. We're currently 5 full-time staff, but we're able to expand through the work of election judges and temporary aides and assistants. And we grow to over 700 people working in our office to make sure that the elections run so smoothly on election day.
Thank you.
Cheryl, do you see any other hands up?
No, I don't. Nobody's up. Nope.
Oh, Chris.
Chris Hanley.
I am struggling with my mouse tonight. Sorry about that. So I do have another question for Bradley. The councils were sent a member inventory form, and we are a new council, and we were all appointed earlier this summer. And so each one of our terms is a 3-year term, right? But we're staggered. So so this form shows each one of us and when our term expires. And some of them were only on for 2 years and some were only on for a year at the beginning, but it says the term length is 3 years. Should we just ignore that and just leave the 3 years and just verify that the expiry date is correct?
Yeah, we call them all 3-year terms, and they may be a partial term when you're first appointed, but all of the positions on Missoula's community councils have been established to be a 3-year term. And so making sure that the date that they would expire is correct, and noting that the next person who may fill that seat would also be a 3-year term. So exactly, Chris, if you see that the date that they're expiring is correct, it is a little bit unique as a new community council is created because terms are staggered and they start off on a staggered status, but then they will all go forward to a 3-year term. So the big thing you're going to be looking at is that the people we have listed when they expire are in the correct seats, that we have all of our information correct. And if we run into an issue like that, we'll reach out and we'll work on it with the community councils, with LAC and with the Board of Community Council, the Board of County Commissioners to make sure we update all of our information online.
Okay, I have one other question about terms and the alternate. So the alternate, if enough people run for it, would be elected in the 2024 election, but it says that their term ends in 2026, which is only 2 years. I was wondering why that is.
So that was set up that way and established in that fashion so that you would have no more than 3 people expiring from the board at one point in time. And so it is kind of like establishing a staggered term for those alternate positions, but that way you didn't have a year where you had 4 people up for election. It made sure that it was a 2-year, 2-year, and then 3-year rotation for the number of people who would be up for election.
Okay, so we don't, okay. Very good, thank you.
Of course.
And it looks like Juan joined us. Welcome, Juan.
Thanks
I thought,
so
did you
much.
see in the chat? It says, "I'm not sure I understand."
That's MissoulaElectionJudge.com is the link to find out more information about serving as an election judge. Is that what you were referencing, Josh?
I just saw I'm not sure I understand in the chat, but
Oh,
it could be something else. We'll just let it go and people can reach out to you. And thanks for that good info.
yeah, and please do get in touch with me directly. I can pull up your specific information. We can make sure that we go through it all. And then the other thing is, if you want more information, if you have a January meeting and you'd like us to share information about how to file or how to serve as an election judge, reach out to our office and we'd be happy to have a representative come out and make sure we can walk through it live with everyone.
Awesome. Thank you.
You bet, guys. Thank you for having me tonight.
Bet. So Cheryl, I feel like we're up to the point now where we're gonna roll call through everybody and just do a check-in. I feel like we could do a check-in / question. It can be one or the other or both, depending on the person. Oh, I think you're muted.
I'm just testing you if you guys can read lips or not. Do we have any? So I have Rick Hall, Karen James. Any of you want to check in from Bonner? Any updates?
I can check in. This is Rick. We had elections and we've all rotated seats. I'm the chair. Jane is the vice chair. Emmy is the secretary. And we also just voted on the bylaws and passed that in our last meeting. And coming up January, for our January meeting, we'll have a community gathering sponsored by Missoula County with free pizza for residents. And it's a chance for residents to talk to different government offices and see what they do, get questions answered, gripe perhaps if they wanted to. And that's about it. That's all I have, really.
Rick, do we have a date for that?
It's taking place of our normal meeting, so it'd be the second Monday of January. I think it's the 13th
So
or
it's,
something like that.
yeah,
Go
it's
ahead.
Monday, January 8th. And Josh, it's already on your calendar.
Oh, wonderful.
We've got it
Thanks.
all planned. It's the community conversation in Bonner, so it'll be, yeah, it'll be our second community conversation. The first one took place in Sealy, and I think it went pretty well, and hopefully this one goes even better. So we'll
These are
just keep.
so good. Yeah,
And
What's
and
the
there
venue?
will be, it will be at the Bonner School, and there will be pizza.
Yeah,
I
and
don't
it'll
know. I
take
don't know.
place in more than just the cafeteria. We did get
Right.
permission to use other spaces so we can spread folks out a little bit to help with noise level as there's multiple conversations going on at once. So yeah, and just so everybody knows, postcards went out for that last week, I believe it was, and so residents should be hearing about it. And there's also a Facebook event you're welcome to share or respond to or whatever. So yeah, hope to see all the Bonner folks there, and thanks to the council for letting us use your council time for this. I think it'll be a good deal.
We're happy to do that. Unfortunately, I'll be in Mexico, so if somebody have my pizza for me. It's Bridge Pizza, I understand, right?
Yeah, yes, we are planning to do Bridge. Yep.
Awesome.
So
Thank you, Emmy, for the update.
And Josh, I'm sorry, I interrupted you. Go ahead.
Oh, I was just saying it's a really great event. We'll have a lot of county staff there. So you could have very specific questions, let's say about roads or public works or public health or zoning and subdivisions or emergency management. And we will have a person with subject matter expertise there to give you the real answer. And we'll use multiple spaces, as Emmy said. So we'll have some small groups. So there may be 5 or 6 or people at a time to get, and those folks would have a conversation with our public works director, say, with nobody else around, not in a big loud room. So it's really a great information exchange. Super good. The response we had off the last one was really excellent.
We hope the turnout is great.
Yeah.
And that's all I have.
Okay. Anything else from Bonner, folks? Okay. And we have a couple people from Clinton. Do we have any updates or comments you want to share?
So this is Chris Handley, and let's see, we all wanted to tell you that we're having very good turnout at our meetings. We are averaging 25 to 30 folks from the public. And I want to do a big shout out and thank you to our chairperson, Chris Sally. He constructed some nice sturdy wooden sandwich board signs, and he donated those materials in time to the council, and he puts them up every Monday before our meetings. And the community said, wow, those were awesome. That's why we're here. So that's been helpful. We've had some special speakers. It's been great that the county just reaches out to us. And we've had speakers about bear awareness. Jamie Jonkel came out, and Clinton has a new community park, or one that's kind of in the process, but the first thing they put in was a skate park. And we had an update on that from somebody, from Jackson Lee from the county. We had a brownfields program presentation, and tomorrow we'll have a presentation on the rural grant program. As far as little business things with us, we got our bylaws signed by all the council members, and next that goes to the commissioners. We got a budget approved, woohoo! And now we have an EIN, so we can go forward with getting a checking account. So we're on our way to being in business. So that's all I had to say. I just want to make sure that Bonnie and Frankie didn't have anything else to add, or something that I may have forgotten.
No, I don't have anything to add. You're doing a great job, Chris.
Okay,
Frankie has his hand up.
Oh, yeah, I just wanted to thank Chris for being such an excellent spokeswoman for us. And, you know, with having all those people come to our meetings, they're all really engaged in the community, and it's been a very positive atmosphere so far. So it's been really fun.
Great. Next up, we have East Missoula. Stephanie, do you have anything to add this evening?
I'm kind of surprised that I'm the only one here. But so we had our meeting last night, and we actually, since no one else is here, I'll get on my little soapbox. We've been toying with the vote of doing the Pledge of Allegiance at the beginning of the meetings. It did pass 3-2, but my concern goes to what happened at the city council meeting, where the Missoula Current published photographs of people that sat for the pledge. And I'm just not sure that that's a real appropriate thing for our news organizations to be doing. I don't know that there's anything we can do about it, but I was concerned, and here we go and have our vote. And I think it's a limiting, I think it makes people uncomfortable, some people. If you don't feel like you want to be outed by the Missoula Current. Is there any, like, I mean, can they publish just anyone's pictures, or could they publish those pictures because they were officials, or?
Well, Stephanie, those are great questions. It's a public meeting, so it's everything visually there, everything that's said there is part of the public domain. It's a public meeting.
Yeah. So as you can probably guess, I was not in favor. I think that it's just something that could cause troubles down the road. But
yeah,
other than that, that was a pretty robust discussion. It took about half an hour to get through it. And we have not done our bylaws yet, but that's on the agenda for next month. And we'll be waiting for our pizza party, because it sounds like fun.
Yeah, great.
Yeah, and actually your community conversation event, we're planning on doing it in February. So I'll probably be reaching out to you guys within the next week or so to make sure that we can get our ducks in a row for that. And yeah, so look forward to talking to you guys about your community conversation. And actually, I just moved to an apartment here in East Missoula, so I'm kind of, I'm out here with you. So yeah, should be fun.
Congratulations.
Nice.
Yes, thank you.
But other than that, I think that's pretty much all we had going on.
All right. Looks like we have Danica Nelson from Lolo. Do you have anything to add?
I guess one of the biggest concerns our community members have had lately had to do with transportation, mainly along Highway 93 that cuts through our town. The school, we've got a great new school now, but it's no longer on 93, which is actually awesome for the kids. But now there's kind of concern about, well, what do we do? There used to be a school speed limit on that road. It still stands. And so we've been having great discussions with the county commissioners and put out a survey to our community members to try to see what they would like to have happen with that. Coinciding with that, there's also a study that's being conducted by MDT on US 93. And so there are some possible traffic calming measures that might come out of that study once they finally get to all of the results and everything. But those two topics really are the main concern, you know, just people speeding through town. What can we do about it? Should we do anything about it? Obviously, you're going to have people that want to just speed through town so they can get into Missoula quicker. But we did also pass our bylaws, sent those off to the county commissioners, and didn't hold a meeting December, didn't have enough items on the agenda, but it sounds like January is going to be pretty stacked. And we're excited to have one of the county commissioners come out there so we can continue our discussion on transportation issues in Lolo. And we really appreciate it when you guys show up. I think it really, you know, it shows well to our community that you're actually listening to us. So thank you for that.
Yeah, see you there.
Awesome. Anybody else from Lolo that joined late? I don't see. Usually, we have anyone from Sealy Lake. Tom, are you still there? Yep.
Yeah, I'm still here.
Okay.
And I will say to Clinton and the rest of you, these community conversations are awesome. The one we had in Sealy, far more people than we expected, and we're still having, you know, let's say, you know, people following up with this department or that department. So they're really good. I mean, Emmy and the gang are doing a great job with that. Obviously, the big issue up here is the county, because the state told you to shut down Boy Scout Bridge. Not a huge deal in the wintertime. Come summer, probably more annoyance. Biggest thing, is it permanent, like forever permanent, or permanent because the budget's not there for a few years permanent? The council, we don't, like a lot of you, we don't meet in December because there's just a lot going on. But we'll pick that up in January, and Shane Sack and the group have been very helpful in working with us. Yeah, so that's what's happening. There's a lot going on. I'm going to drop a link in the chat to our SealySwanEvents.net. That's our community calendar. So, you know, the next couple of weekends, you got nothing to do, come on up, because the Salmon Lake construction's put to bed for the winter, and it's a pretty easy drive. So that's it from Sealy.
Hey, Tom, I just wanted to clarify, MDT closed the bridge. They gave us no option there. It wasn't.
Well, that's right.
Closed it. MDT closed it. We abide by MDT. So.
Yeah, that's what really the word is. And, you know, sometimes people aren't as interested in a real explanation as just venting. But the good thing about it, and, you know, I think this is something, I don't know if this was worked out within the Public Works Department. It's closed to vehicular traffic, but not to foot traffic. Because in late February, we have our probably 40 years now snow joke, the half marathon around Sealy Lake. So that, I mean, they may need to change a little how they leave the starting gate, but that, I think, will still be able to go on.
So, Tom, I heard from Shane today that MDT said no.
Well, maybe we need to re-educate MDT. I mean, these are just people. They're not cars. I don't think you can put enough people on that bridge to hit.
I'm not arguing with your logic at all. Shane and I met at 4 o'clock about something else, and I asked him about this, and he said, MDT said closed is closed is closed. It's closed.
Oh my gosh. Well, maybe we'll have to do a little behind the scenes lobbying with MDT and see what.
So, Tom, I think if you have it in you, if you have the space tomorrow, give Shane a call, because he had some option ideas.
Okay. I mean, if there's enough ice, they could run across the ice, but as warm as it's been so far, I don't think that's going to work. Yeah, I'll give them a call.
You did
That's
have
good to
some
know.
ideas.
Josh, thanks for the heads up.
Yeah, you bet.
All right. Thank you, Tom. Grace, did you have anything to add from Swan Valley area?
Oh.
Grace, we can't hear
Can you
you.
hear me now? Can you hear me?
Yeah, we can hear
Oh.
you now.
Can't see
Okay.
you though. We're just looking at your drapes.
Oh, that's good. It's been a long day.
There you are. Now we can see you.
There we are. Yeah, I don't have a lot to report, just that we have finally, we have a planning committee put together on the planning for our corridor up here and figuring out what the community wants. We're trying to get Teams or Zoom or something, and Tom said he could help us set up. I went to the community hall today to kind of test it so that the local community can be more engaged and involved. Other than that, we have a pretty fairly good turnout, better than in the past. We have anywhere from, I'd say 10 to 25, 30 people show up, where before it used to be 1 or 2 or 3. So that's good news. Other than that, nothing really pressing.
Okay. All right. I'll definitely see if we can help you out like we spoke earlier today with the team's information. Yeah. I'll get back with you tomorrow about that.
Okay, sounds good.
All right.
You know, not to butt in, but a question that's come up the last couple of years. Could our budget be used for meeting expenses for technology? And I'm thinking webcam, maybe to help with some internet expenses, or like in the case where Grace says, a Wi-Fi extender so they can use the community hall, which kind of piggybacks off the library. Could that, that budget we get for media expenses go for that?
Yeah, that would make good sense.
I went through the library today with Jenny Kaufman, who works at the library, and she sent an email on my behalf asking the signer for the library if we could piggyback on their Wi-Fi and get an extender. And he seems to think that they've upgraded with the library and that he checked it in the hall and that we should be okay. So I'll know here Monday after our planning committee meeting.
That's good.
Rick?
I just wanted to add something when everyone's done. Are we done with all the councils yet?
Except for West Valley.
I'll wait for them.
Okay. Tom Tucker, are you there still?
I'm still here.
Okay.
Our last meeting was last month on the 9th, and we didn't have too much of a turnout. The school did not show, the fire department did not show. We did talk about all the construction that was going on out at the Y, and the planning board was out there, and we talked a little bit about the boundaries. Our school and fire district boundaries run pretty much straight through I-90 and 93 up almost to .6, and then they come back along the Indian reservation boundary there up 9 Mile. But anyway, we kind of discussed that a little bit there. County commissioners will be out tomorrow at Frenchtown Fire Department at 6:30. Well, actually 6, excuse me. And they're going to have a round table with the community members there. So we look forward to have that going on. We'll also have reports coming back from hopefully the fire district and all their calls and the school. And the senior citizens luncheons that have been going on. We have a good turnout on that. But that's about it. That's all I got.
Okay, thank you. Did you have something to add, Rick?
I do. I left out something kind of important and I didn't want to slight them. We have 2 new members. John Wilkie is a regular member and Jessica Glebke is an alternate, which means our council is fully staffed, which is the first time in quite a while we've had every position filled. And then I forgot to say welcome to our Clinton neighbors. We're happy to have you. And that was about it.
All right, thank you. I think that wraps it up for the round robin. Anything
Great.
else?
And I think we're done unless anybody has anything else. Juan, do you have anything you want to share? Otherwise, I think we're good.
No, I'm really excited about Clinton's progress and super looking forward to tomorrow night out in West Valley.
Yeah.
It's been a while since we've been out there, so this is going to be a good event. Or Tom, we hope you make it a good event. Okay.
And
Thanks,
just a
everyone.
reminder
Oh,
that,
sorry, Emmy, go ahead.
oh, I just wanted to give a reminder that this is kind of like a pre-community conference. I don't want to mix up what they're doing tomorrow night with what the larger events that we're doing. Your guys' community conversation we're going to have in April. So out in West Valley. So I just want to make sure you're not like, where's our pizza? So.
And just to update everyone on our end, just to keep consistency with these meetings, that even if there aren't agenda items, that we probably will still continue to have the meeting, just to keep the community together with any updates or anything that people need to share. Sound like a good plan?
Yep.
Stephanie, did you have something you wanted to add?
I did. So the February, if our meeting is in February, is it typical to have it on the night of the council meeting? And we did have a slower meeting yesterday, but we generally have quite a few topics of conversation. So I'm wondering, is this can we pick a different day other than a council day, or does it need to be on the council day?
We can, I scheduled these out in advance on council days just to, I guess, make it easier on scheduling. But if you think that it'll be a full meeting and you would rather choose a different day, we're open to that. I'll make sure that we can get staff all on the same page and we can work on that.
And that's just a question, because I'm not sure how Sue's going to want to work it, but since she's not here, I thought I'd ask. We do have, she has been trying to keep in touch with all of the different developers that we have, and sometimes they come and sometimes they don't. So it's kind of hit or miss. But okay, thank you.
Yeah, you bet. And just to piggyback on what Cheryl was saying, whenever we have these meetings and we don't have anything on the agenda, I'll probably just hop on and give a little update on like very general stuff that's maybe on Missoula County Voice or things that you guys can keep up on, just county news wise. And then you can give your round robins and we can kind of all stay in touch so that there's not silence for a long period of time. So.
Okay.
Sounds good.
I do believe we're done.
Okay. Everyone have a great evening. Drive safe if
Have
you're
a good
driving.
evening.
Great. Thanks a lot.
Bye.
Thanks,
Have a good
Josh.
night.
Thanks, bye.
See you tomorrow.